Welcome back to AM Northwest. You know, many people think conflict is always destructive, but that's not true. A difference of opinion where the ideas clash, but people respect each other, can actually help teams grow. Here to share ways to take the fear out of conflict, we welcome back executive coach and leadership strategist, Dr. Carol Parker Walsh. Great to see you again.
Good to see you as well.
It's interesting take on this. You say conflict is actually an opportunity for growth.
Absolutely. You know, when I think of, as you said, when I think of conflict in organizations, it really is about a misalignment or a disagreement. And I think when people think about conflict, because of our lack of social discourse that we have in our society, and how people can be really vitriolic when they're online or through email or text, that what happens is the differing of opinion becomes a personal attack. And really, conflict is just about a misalignment or differing of opinions. It's not about you. It's about the person. It's not about the person. It's about actually the idea or the value or things of that nature. And when you stifle
you've got
that,
to stick though with the actual issue, not a person.
Absolutely. When you stifle the opportunity to bring up differing ideas or differing opinions, you stifle innovation and you stifle creativity and you stifle growth within organizations. I mean, you think about any time we've had an iteration of something, from the horse and buggy to the car, right? From blocks of ice to actually a refrigerator and freezer, right, in the house. Like, all of these innovations come from people challenging the status quo and challenging the way that we're doing things. So you want to create a space where you can have an opportunity for those differing agreements, right? Where people may feel misaligned.
Feel safe to bring up ideas.
Absolutely. It's important that people feel safe to bring up ideas, right? If you don't create an environment where there's safety for people to express those differing opinions, and oftentimes in organizational efforts to avoid conflict, because they think of it as a negative connotation, they stifle people's ability to express their ideas, so people don't feel safe to speak up. You know, there's a phrase, psychological safety, that came from some work that Amy Edmondson did at Harvard Medical School, where she studied hospitals where people were afraid to speak up and people died, right? So if you don't create safety for people to be able to share ideas, it not only stifles innovation and growth, but can it actually be detrimental into the organization. So you want to create a space where people can have what's called radical candor, where you care personally but challenge directly, right? Where you're able to say, well, I don't agree with that, or I know we've been doing things this way, but maybe we want to change it up. So one of the things I think is really good is to encourage this opportunity for debate within organizations.
So you say to distinguish intellectual friction versus social friction.
Yes, so intellectual friction is a great thing, right? It's the opportunity to exchange ideas. Again, it's you have an idea, I have an idea, or you may have been doing something for a long time and now I want to say maybe we can do something different. I know we've been doing it that way, but let's try something else. And instead of taking it personally, we can just see it as a conversation. Social friction is when we turn it personal. It's about, now you're suggesting something different, so now I have fear around it because I don't know what that looks like, or I'm threatened by it because maybe I feel like my position is threatened, or my role is threatened, or the work that I do is threatened because you're challenging the way I've always done things, right? And so that's usually where it becomes a social friction. And so you want to be able to not focus on that, but really focus on the exchange of ideas.
You say also to master your own communication skills.
Yeah, well, and this is the key thing about people taking things personally. When you're bringing up something different, you want to ask yourself, why am I taking it personally? But you also want to think, as the person delivering the idea, am I doing it in a way that's offensive? Am I speaking down about your idea, or am I just generating a different point, right? So communication is really important, because when we're having conversations, I'm bringing all my baggage to the table, you're bringing all your baggage to the table, and often we are misaligned in terms of, are we actually seeing what the other person is saying? Are we so focused on the fact that this is different and what it may mean to me, or your tone or the way you brought it to me, that we're missing the context, which is the differing idea and the new way of thinking about maybe doing something new in the organization.
Wow. A healthy workplace, you say, doesn't always mean a comfortable workplace.
Yes,
that's really interesting.
That is right. So this effort to be polite can really cause a lot of passive aggressiveness. It can cause people going behind people's backs. It can cause, really, on the face, it seems like a well-run and polite organization, but underneath it is very treacherous and dangerous. And you have to, there's a lot of political issues, and you have to know who to talk to and things of that nature. So in order to have a safe environment, you want to have things open and transparent. So you want to celebrate people when they bring up different ideas. You want to encourage people to say that, hey, I have a different idea, or I don't agree with that, or I know we've been doing it this way for a long time, but I think maybe there's a new approach that we can take.
Yeah.
And sometimes people feel very threatened by that. So you want to have this safety in the environment to be able to bring up all of these differing ideas, because what it can create for you in the future to create a sustainable organization is the development of this innovation and ideas, and it allows you to grow from where you are to where you really want to go in the future.
It seems like that would work really well with equals, but you definitely, as a leader, you have to make sure that everyone feels comfortable coming up to you and not feeling like their job is in trouble or...
Absolutely, and that goes to the point of feeling safe. Right? So it is imperative for leaders to practice that, to demonstrate that, so that people feel it amongst their peers. But you definitely want to be able to have that with leaders. So leaders have to create a space and have an open policy where they say, challenge me. If I'm doing something that you think there's a better way to do it, please let me know. But a lot of times leaders, again, people feel threatened, or they feel as if their authority is being challenged, and it's none of that, right? And so that's the other piece about checking your own communication, checking yourself in the process, so that you know it's not about you, but it's about the ideas.
Really important information.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.